sports fans. I'm Ashley, and this is Standing Room Only. I'm accompanied by these two lovely gentlemen in their homes. One who has decided to cross over to the dark side.
Well, the Padres aren't exactly the dark side, but...
Yeah, no, the dark... I would be wearing your Yankee jersey if I went to the dark side. But I think I'm officially announcing that as of the 2020 season, just for this season, I'm going to be a Padres fan because I can't watch the Mets anymore.
I wonder why. I wonder why that is.
I mean, this I have one word for this.
All right.
This season is disgusting, and I don't blame him for finally joining my misery and crossing to the dark side. So what's up first, Ashley?
Well, in the spirit of screaming goats, obviously everyone has heard about Cespedes. He decided to opt out for COVID-related reasons. Now, before I get into the specifics, what do you guys think about him just walking away?
Victor, you start.
It's good. We didn't need him anymore. Like, to be honest, it's better that it happened now than if we were in a full season and he happened to leave mid-season. I mean, aside from 2015 Cespedes, the Mets haven't seen much of him since. You know, you go back to 2018, he was injured. 2019 with his own self-injury with the wild boar, and now with this whole COVID thing going on. It was nice. It was nice to have Cespedes, but his time was up. His time was up long before this.
So, in terms of specifics, at the start of the games, the Mets were unsure where Cespedes was after he failed to report to the Atlanta ballpark for the team's Sunday afternoon game against the Braves. General Manager Brody said that Cespedes had not reached out to management with any explanation for his absence, and their attempts to contact him had been unsuccessful. Apparently, they did send security up to his room, and they realized he had been packed up and gone. So a lot of fans are a little bit frustrated because he just got up and walked away and didn't say anything to anyone.
Well, okay, look. I don't trust Brody Van Wagenen as far as I can throw him, nor do I trust the Mets organization. Because how many times... Look, they said they sent someone to his room. First of all, what kind of organization speculates and puts out there that a player is missing before having any concrete information about what is actually going on? This has happened in the past. Players have turned up dead. Players have turned up drunk. Players have turned up in different places. And they wait. They wait to say anything that's to not involve fan speculation, not worry their families, whatever it might be. The Mets being such a poorly run organization, as one person said on Twitter, was either trying to embarrass Cespedes or is just a crappily run organization that puts out speculation and doesn't think before they speak, do not act and do the thorough investigations before they actually put out a statement. Being said, look, Cespedes exited the same way he came in a way. We all remember it's been almost exactly 5 years since the Wilmer Flores fiasco, and then Cespedes coming in. And look at the one that night with Wilmer Flores. And yes, it was a different regime as far as it was Sandy Alderson, now Brody Van Fuckface, but it's still the same team. It's still, for the most part, the same front office. You've got a general manager, ownership, managers. They don't communicate with each other. They never have. And they embarrass themselves at every turn. There are a lot of rumors out there and sources that are saying that Cespedes and his agent had informed the team the night before, on Saturday night. Now, I would not be at all shocked if the Mets did get notification but didn't communicate it down to the team in Atlanta, or just dropped the ball somewhere, or just flat out lying, which they've done in the past with numerous free agents, numerous other examples. Oh, they also said yesterday it's not COVID related. We don't have any reason to worry about his safety, and we can confirm that it's not COVID related. They've since deleted all that because it ended up being COVID related. They screwed up even in this own situation unto itself. Their history is one of lies, of half-truths, of exaggerations, of jumping the gun, of trying to make someone else look bad so they can look better, and in the process, they just brutally embarrass themselves. So I don't necessarily trust the fact that the story right now that Cespedes didn't notify them on time, or that his agent didn't notify them on time. Yes, Should a player maybe of someone of Cespedes' ilk, yes, definitely reach out to the manager directly and so forth. There's talk about how he was unhappy with his playing time or how the team was treating him or whatnot. I don't know, and hopefully that'll come to light. Probably won't. So I think that Cespedes went about this exactly the right way? No, but he also has a history of not going about things the right way necessarily with other teams, the Red Sox and the A's and so forth. But I truly do think that this is a developing story where the truth about how the Mets handled this will end up looking worse than how Cespedes handled this. But again, like Victor said, we don't need him. I was hoping he'd be able to show something, but he's not. And we're over a 15% of the way through the season. Give other people an opportunity to do more because I love Cespedes. In my eyes, he is a legend. He is the best left fielder we had just for what he did in 2015. He put that team on his back. He got us to the playoffs. People want to act like, oh, he's dogging it. He's played through injury for years as best he could. And yeah, it's a lot of freaky crap. The Boer attack, this, that, and the other thing. So yes, it's marred with like ridiculousness, and this is just very fitting to complete it this way. But you know, I love Cespedes. I wish him well, and I can't blame anyone if it is indeed about COVID for opting out for COVID reasons. Several other players on other teams did it also this weekend, and their teams didn't drop the ball. Just saying. But but you know what? Victor's right. At the end of the day, it's time to give someone else that DH role. It really is.
Well, so there are conflicting reports. One did say that he was very frustrated with the Mets before opting out. It was confirmed that twice in the first 9 games of the season, Cespedes confronted Mets officials concerned about his playing time and that he would be kept out of lineups to prevent him from reaching that lucrative performance goal. So one of those came Saturday when he first talked to Luis Rojas and then Brody about his playing status and bonuses. And then obviously he knew before the buses left for Truist Park on Sunday that he was not going to be in the starting lineup. And then ta-da, he never showed up. However, on the flip side, there are people or friends of Cespedes who said due to the recent outbreaks of having a family member with pre-existing conditions, Cespedes decided to opt out because it was best for him and his family. So we don't really know.
It's probably a mixture of all those things. I mean, if indeed it was a matter of not knowing, because I know Rojas lets the team know via like a video chat who's going to be in the lineup that day. So if it is something that happened on Sunday, that's shitty. Wait till the end. Wait till after the game. Wait till after the game, and then do it the right way at night. In which case, that's messed up, and it's not the Mets' fault in that way. But I also understand being frustrated. The team often the team only thinks like, look, yes, baseball is a business. Everyone's worried about their bottom line, but the Mets demonstrate an exuberant amount of I can't even think of the right term right now. They always demonstrate how they think about money first at the expense of the team, and so if they were blocking him from certain incentives, not surprised at all. All
right, so on the flip side of things, who will end up taking on the role of DH? Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Well, we could get a legitimate left fielder and then put in Dom Smith in the DH role, or Pete Alonso, and then let Dom Smith play first.
I'm down for Dom Smith.
Signed Billy Hamilton. I mean, they got him in a trade from the San Francisco Giants. I also got their jersey too, so I could probably rep them.
Yeah, I mean,
so first, the DH, Shane, what do you think?
I mean, I'll go back to Dom Smith. The guy is one of the best hitters on the team. He hasn't got a chance to really hit his stride, even though he's doing better than most of the team. Not saying much. Give him that shot. And, of course, on days where Alonso, you know, you have more flexibility there to have both Alonso and Dom Smith hit every day and then switch him off at first base. Obviously, Alonso should get the majority of the playing time there, even though he's not as defensively well off as Smith is. And yes, the team can use all the defensive help and improvement they can get. But I think Dom Smith, but it's definitely going to open it up for Jimenez to get more time on the field and have Cano DH. And again, now though, we come down to the fact that we've traded for Billy Hamilton, which I'm actually... I'm a little excited about. I mean, I don't know really where he's at right now in his career and how maybe he must be struggling for the Mets to get him. I'm just going to say that.
Well, so actually, it's funny because I did my research on him, and they say that he's very speedy. He's always diving for things. He's going above and beyond. So this actually might be very beneficial to our outfield in general. Like, we need someone who has a lot of energy, who's gonna like bring that into the dugout and kind of influence the rest of the team and kind of bring everybody under that umbrella as well.
Yeah,
well, I think Hamilton had, for like a couple consecutive seasons, 56 stolen bases.
Yeah.
And the Mets haven't had a legitimate base runner or base stealer at least since Jose Reyes. So I think that's another dynamic that would add to this team, whether it's a pinch runner or a utility outfielder.
They say that he should be adding a lot to our defense, which is exactly what we need at the stage.
Yeah, look, Conforto's the mainstay in right field. I think Nimmo needs playing time. I'm not really that impressed with Rusnik or Corday, whatever his name is. Like, I can take them and I can definitely leave them. Dom Smith is not an outfielder. He does what he can. You need to get him in the lineup.
I saw the highlight. He tried to rob that home run
but the entire outfield is struggling. Conforto's been lackadaisical out there to a great extent. Nimmo can't go back on balls at all. Granted, we re-signed.
Struggling as well.
What's that?
Davis has been struggling defensively as well.
Yeah, look, the whole team on the field is just abysmal, and I would not be surprised if this team comes out 30th out of 30 defensively for the entire major leagues, because it's bad. Hamilton improves that. DeGrom, they said that DeGrom asked the outfielders to play a little more shallow than normal because he'd rather get beat by a longer ball than a shorter ball than a bloop. But when you don't have, Juan Lagares in his prime or Cespedes in 2015 or what have you, or Dow Strawberry out there, guys aren't going back on those balls. Yeah. Nimmo's letting stuff go over his head. Hamilton is a center fielder. He's got the speed. He's got the age on his side. He's got experience. He's a great leadoff guy. He's a great pinch runner later in games. If he's not starting that day, he's a great outfielder. I put Nimmo in right and left. Hamilton in center, Conforto in right. Dom is DH, and Dom and I guess JD Davis split that time in the DH role, and then the spot starts here and there. You can put Conforto in DH, put Nimmo in right, whatever. You have a lot more flexibility now.
Well, this should be the season where teams, not only the Mets, just experiment with lineups.
Yes. And we talked about that earlier.
Look, like this is only a 60-game season. Who knows if it's even going to last 60 games? And then whether or not your team makes the playoffs. Like, this should just be the year where you're like, all right, let me try all the things that I wouldn't risk during a normal season and put it there on the field. I know Luis Rojas is a first-year manager, so I don't know how far he'll go with this. Maybe since he is younger, he'll be more analytics driven, or he'll go more with his gut. But aside from that, playoffs or not, like this 2020 Mets season should be one where you really figure out the depth of your team and the limits that your players have.
How do you feel, Victor, about this? I guess you haven't really watched the games too much, but what you've seen in the box score, Rojas' move so far, how he's managed games. Like, how do you guys feel about that?
I'll be honest. Of the 10 games the Mets have played, I have watched 0. And it's just because, to be honest, I'm not interested in the team this year. So there's something about it, whether it was just because of the late season, because of COVID, but I just don't have the excitement to watch the team anymore. And I was telling Chin and Ashley earlier, I was just like, I've only just been following the box scores. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like the same tale of the Mets in June. It's always just, you see the Mets, they have the lead. And what was it 2 nights ago where they blew a 6-run lead? And out of all people, Travis d'Arnaud hit a bases clearing double. Ugh. And I think that's where the Mets are losing. They're losing morale way too early into the year. And like we said, this baseball season is a sprint, no longer a marathon, so there's no room for error.
I feel like they skip right ahead 260 games in the season, which is when June hits, and June is always a nightmare month for the Mets. So they won opening day.
Obviously, we all know with Manfred, he is going to be deciding whether or not to continue the season, whether or not to pause it or cancel it. So we do know that there have been several games that got canceled or postponed between the Nationals, the Marlins, the Phillies, the Blue Jays, the Brewers, and the Cardinals. We do know that Marlins are actually seeing a full-blown outbreak. They actually were found to be very, very lax in their protocols. Many of the teammates have been spotted high-fiving or spitting or getting too close to the dugout, all in violation of the manual that Manfred set in the beginning. Now, one thing that I found very alarming is that in Manfred's manual, you do not see anything regarding what to do if and when there is a full-blown outbreak for one of the teams. There is no contingency plan on how to approach the season going forward if COVID does break. All he did was outline the standards as to what we should be doing for COVID. So how do you guys feel about, one, the Marlins not, paying attention to things and then still infecting other people, and then two, the lack thereof of procedures when COVID actually, is amongst all the teams?
Well, let me dive headfirst into this. Look, Derek Jeter, who everyone reveres as a god, he is not. He is a man, he's a fallible man, and he is a businessman first and foremost, not a baseball player. This guy's team, under his leadership as owner, should be penalized and disqualified from the entire baseball season, and I'll tell you why. They have multiple players on that team who went out and partied in Philadelphia. Jeter wants to act like, oh, we were fine while we were in Miami or while we were in Florida, but it was when we were on the road we had an issue. Yes, because your players are being allowed to do whatever the hell they want to do. They go out there, and then that Saturday, last Saturday, well, not this past Saturday, but Saturday before, at the time, I believe it was 13 players and staff. Now it's up to, I think, 17, 18 players alone. Tested positive for COVID. What did they do? They didn't talk to MLB, which I'll get to in a minute. They didn't talk to MLB or Manfred. They talked to Jeter ownership, and amongst themselves, they decided, oh, you know what? No reason to stop right now. Let's play tomorrow. Now, one can argue that, yes, the Phillies had already been exposed to the Marlins. What's the harm there? The harm is that someone, even if it's just one person, who may not have been exposed to you because they didn't get on base, they didn't interact with you, this, that, and the other thing, maybe a lowly groundskeeper, umpire, staff member, not just players, new people can be exposed to you on Sunday. They went ahead and played and put people's lives at risk. And the MLB is doing precisely dick about that, and that's absolutely disgusting. So it does not surprise me that in their 113-page manual of BS, where people don't high five, don't spit, where everyone's doing it, and don't have fraternization between teams, and wear a mask when you can, no one's friggin' doing it, next to no one is respecting it, that you have a team that went out there, put themselves at risk, now put other people at risk, are not being penalized whatsoever. Yes, they haven't played since, but that's not punishment. Punishment should be like, you guys got to follow the rules. You guys can't be stupid. The fact that they're not in a bubble to begin with. NBA, no positive players. MLB, dozens across teams. And the fact that they're being allowed to continue their season when they can. The fact that they're still in second place in the NL East because they played 2 games and played 3 games, won 2, lost 1. It's just astounding because now they're going to go into win percentage to determine the playoffs that aren't going to happen, but maybe they will happen. It's just absolutely utter insanity, and it just shows how Manfred will go down as the worst modern-day commissioner in history. This entire thing has been botched, bundled, mishandled since go, and it's just the latest. He should own the Mets because he operates like he does. Pathetic, clueless, dumb. And here's the thing: the Mets, for the most part of their history, have not dealt with life and death situations. This is life and death. And they don't have any idea what it is that they're doing. And if they don't have protocol for a large outbreak other than shut down the season, and he wants to say 1 minute, he wants to say we might cancel the season. The next minute is like, oh, it's a day-to-day thing now. We got to be flexible. We can continue to play. Just it just shows how it all comes down to the cha-ching. Let's make as much money as possible, no matter how much we put other people's lives at risk, and it's absolutely disgusting.
Victor, following that?
I don't know if I could follow that up, Shane. That was very intense. Look, this was bound to happen in baseball just because there's so much traveling going on. I mean, even though you're still going between cross states. I predicted, like, in my mind, I knew an outbreak was going to happen. Like you alluded to before, Shane, with the NBA, there's no outbreaks because it's played in a bubble. Just how the MLS is back with the Major League Soccer League, they're also doing the same thing. They're playing in a bubble. Baseball has been the most disorganized professional sport in doing so. So now, what is Manfred going to do? I don't think he's going to do much. I know he's threatened to say that he's going to cancel the season, but then he goes back on his word and says that he's like, I'm not a quitter. We're going to keep on playing, and then they'll just keep reorganizing the schedule. I don't even know how the season will end. Whether it'll be for the playoffs or it'll just be cut short due to COVID.
Well, so Manfred has said that he is not canceling the season.
Yeah.
He did say that they're going to be ramping up its prevention approach, including installing compliance officers. So he did say that a team losing a number of players that rendered it completely non-competitive would be standard for considering a pause at the team level. That would, of course, require subjective judgment to determine whether a team has been reduced to non-competitive status, but at least a standard of some kind. I think we're at that point with the Marlins. So where do we go from here? Shane, do you have any thoughts on it?
Quote, I think that if everybody does what they're supposed to do, we can continue to play, have a credible season, and get to the postseason. Is what Manfred said.
Huh, I wonder who said that.
Which is just that's where he goes from here. Like he's just trying to have a season, and it's not gonna be a credible season because he's not gonna make it a credible season. The changing of the rules back and forth, the improvising as we go. For an exhibition season where we try things out and we try to give people an entertainment, yeah, sure, great, fine, improvise. And understandable that we should be a little flexible with things. I get that. But to not have foreseen this happening and to be making it up as you go along just is an embarrassment. And where we go from here is to just, I think we should shut down the season. And if we don't, say there will be a version of the playoffs. It'll be a bragging rights trophy. It's not a World Series. Where do we go is just we're too far gone to really look at this in any kind of positive light, in my opinion.
Okay, so after news of Marlins outbreak surfaced, David Price, the Los Angeles Dodgers pitcher who opted out of the season before it began, he tweeted, "Part of the reason I'm at home right now is because players' health wasn't being put first. I can see that hasn't changed." So on the flip side, Yankees outfielder Giancarlo Stanton said, "Everyone can do better. This is a learning process. We learn things every day from how to do better with this on both sides. Both sides can be better, and by the time the season is over, there can still be improvements of what we could have done better."
Giancarlo Stanton is towing the company line, trying to. It sounds I feel like that's a layered statement of saying, yeah, not everything's being done, but it'll be all right. You know, I believe in MLB and I believe in my money and my contract since usually I'm on the DL or the IL.
That's exactly what the 113-page operating manual was.
Yeah.
It'll be all right. It'll be okay. We don't have to implement anything.
It does speak to the larger picture of that they don't really know what they're doing, nor do they care to. When you try to please money first, the well-being of a human being is usually going to suffer, and I think that's exactly what this season has been about, and I think that's exactly what Manfred's focus is trying to be. You cannot have your cake and eat it too sometimes, and it's sad. But it's also sad that these players in this league can get 15-minute test back, hour and a half test back every single day for dozens and dozens of people, hundreds of people, thousands of people in the league. They can get it back in 15, 20 minutes, but the average person who doesn't have $1 million, who doesn't have all this stuff, takes 13 days to get the test back. It's an embarrassment of society, but that's what it is.
Well, speaking of not being able to have your cake and eat it too, let's go into how shitty the rotation and pen are, as well as the defense and hitting with a man on base.
I mean, aside from the star of Jacob deGrom, man, what are you gonna do? We can't put a team together. You have, was it Michael Wacha? I saw the box line. He's doing decent. I feel like he's like maybe a number 2-ish, considering that Noah Syndergaard is in here.
He did good his
Porcello,
first game.
Man,
Yesterday
I
was
really
not good.
Yeah.
Rick Porcello, I feel bad because I was like, I had high hopes for him. In the expedition, he got rocked by the Yankees. I was like, all right, maybe he'll brush this off, but clearly that didn't happen. Where he performed terrible in his previous 2 games. Apparently, then we get some other guy too, another starter. He's a rookie who got called up, David Peterson. He looks like he could actually.
I like him.
He looks like he could be a little bright spot in this season.
Yeah, no, I like him. He was good.
About Diaz, though?
I'm not surprised. The fans try to give him the benefit of the doubt, be like, oh, next year will be his year, but it's turned out like this Cano-Diaz trade was probably one of the worst trades in Mets history.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. I mean, Familia's shot.
Yeah, but
Diaz is shit.
He's not 2015 Familia.
And I mean, it looks like Diaz has lost
But
the closer role.
Still struggling.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, Lugo is what we've got.
Rojas apparently still has some faith in Diaz, though.
Who what?
Rojas apparently still has some faith in Diaz. Says there's
But
stuff
that's his
there,
job.
obviously.
Rojas is supposed to have faith in this guy.
But his faith ran out, though. His faith has run out because he was not the closer. He was.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. They haven't named him as a closer yet.
I mean, he wasn't in the. He was in the early innings.
Some passive aggressive statement.
No, of course they do. They have to try to toe the line and blah blah instead of calling anybody out. No one can be an adult about anything anymore. No one can take criticism, especially when they're making more money than the managers. But that being said, at least Diaz wasn't in the later innings the other day, and I mean, you can't have Seth Lugo be the long man, the setup man, and the closer, unfortunately. But it's just
this isn't MLB the Show.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Familia's crap, Diaz's crap, and Betances has potential but is struggling, and you've got Lugo. It's just the moment you go into that pen, you know you're probably going to lose that game, just like Victor was saying the other night with that huge lead, and they botched it. And then you cannot count on this hitting staff to do anything. You never know what you're going to get. You can get we're getting more guys on base than almost any other team, but we're not getting people in. No outs, men in scoring position. We can't bring guys home. It's anemic. Nimmo.
Yeah, we had 9 hits yesterday.
What's that?
9 hits, 0 runs for. I said last night we had nine hits, 0 runs for it. While as Atlanta, I believe they had 4 runs on 5 hits. So they're just not closing. They're just not like they can't bring runners.
They're not
home.
connecting the dots.
They can't bring runners home. And you need to score runs in order to win this game.
Well, speaking of, what about the defense and also hitting with men on base already?
Well, that's what we were saying, how having, the guys on base, especially in scoring position, especially with 0 to 1 outs, they're just not connecting, and it's down the line. Nimmo can get all the walks he wants. McNeil is struggling. Alonso is really uncomfortable at the plate. His swing has changed. He's struggling. He's pushing. He's pressing. Smith's been okay, but not consistent at just being at the plate. Davis is struggling. Rosario is struggling. Cano has been picking it up lately. but not getting it done with men in scoring position. Ramos is god awful, both at the plate and behind it. And the defensive woes are it's just scary. It's just scary how bad this team is, offensively and defensively.
As a whole picture, how do you think Rojas has been given all of these shitty factors?
Look, I can't knock the guy because he was brought into this situation super last minute, pre-pandemic with the whole Beltran drama. Now you have him trying to manage a team where you've had such a long gap between spring training and up until the official start of the season. He's playing pretty much what's the proper word for it? Not a simulated season. He's just playing like he's
a
playing
sprint season.
He's playing a shortened season where he can't really get into a stride. So I can't say like, oh, this is all Rojas' fault because he was put in a bad situation. I'm sure if any one of us were thrown into this, like he was, you wouldn't be like you probably would be having the same results as him. So you kind of have to take this game by game. It's frustrating as a Mets fan. It's frustrating to watch just if you're a baseball enthusiast. However, you could probably try to get the best you can out of the season. Maybe you'll consider these 10 games as an experiment, and then these next 50 games is where the Mets can pick it up. But that's just wishful thinking. At the end of the day, it's all about wins and losses, and these losses that we've had in the last 10 games have really put a hurdle on us.
Yeah, definitely, because I think when it comes to Rojas, being that it's such a short season, any mistake or any loss is going to be amplified because of how short the season is.
Absolutely. And it's unfortunate because you want to see baseball. I mean, people, that's what they're looking forward to from March. Look at the run the Mets had at the end of 2019. Yeah, we didn't make the playoffs, but we came pretty darn close. So, and this year we had hopes of making that playoffs. Not saying it's completely over with this new playoff format that we have going on. However, it's just not. You're not happy to see it.
No, I mean, I can't really fault much of what Rojas has done. I've kind of agreed with when I have been paying diligent attention to the games. Every decision he's made, I for the most part agreed with. I mean, I would love to never see Nito ever, but like. For the most part, he's done a good job with the lineup. I think some days he should put in Smith where he doesn't, but like putting in Jimenez, giving Jimenez a chance, putting him in for defensive replacements every game, Marisnik for defensive replacement, moving folks around. He'll take out JD, put Nimmo in left, Marisnik in center, putting Jimenez at third where we've really needed help because McNeil has had more errors than I've had heart attacks about this team over the years. And then the pitching, it's just he's hindered with the pitching. You want to take somebody out to put the pen in, but then it's like all I've got is Lugo, and it's a hard decision to make because he's working with what he's got, and what he's got is not a lot, and he's done a good job. Victor's spot on with how amplified it's going to be with a 60-game season. But so far, I think he's done a good job. But, I think Chili Davis needs to step it up. And I think Jeremy Hefner needs to really step it up with his pitching staff. And it's not all the coach's faults. Pitchers and the defense and the hitting, we're not clicking on any front right now. And that's really scary when all three of your mainstays or all three of the aspects that win the game are just awful at the moment. But you know what? We've been competitive in a lot of games, and if the manager's going to get the blame when we lose, they should also get the credit when we're at least staying in it. So I think for the most part, he's done a good part of what he's had.
Okay, so on a more positive note, Jose Reyes, after 16 years in the MLB, he has officially retired. Obviously, you guys know that he played for the Mets from 2003 to 2011, and then again in 2016 to 18. So, how do you guys feel about him retiring?
All right, I'm not going to lie. I really thought Jose Reyes retired in 2018 along with David Wright. To see him go, I mean, it's part of the game. You see players come and go. I have to give credit where credit is due. I mean, when Jose came up with the team and he was in his prime years with David Wright, that was so much fun to watch. Unfortunate to see him leave to Miami. However, when he did make his second stint with the Mets, it was like, okay, what's the worst thing that could happen? He did have some good, bright moments in 2016, 2017, and then 2018. Everything kind of went downhill from there. But, I appreciate him as a player. He'll go down as a Mets legend. And, maybe we'll see him back with the team as an advisory role.
Yeah, I mean, look, Jose, everyone who knows me knows Jose is like my second favorite player of all time behind Keith Hernandez. He got me back into baseball. After, the 86 team was completely disbanded and then the strike and everything, I was done with baseball. I didn't give a crap. And then I turn on the playoffs in 2006 and I see this electric player who's just having fun. Baseball is so damn stuffy sometimes. To see someone out there having a good time and killing it was just refreshing. And, my very first baseball jersey was, as far as a player jersey, was Jose. It was a birthday gift. And the black jersey. And I still have it. I can't fit in it anymore, but I have it. And he was the most electric player we ever had. He is maybe, I'd say Ray Ordonez was the best defensive shortstop we ever had, but as far as an all-around player goes, of being the leadoff man, who could hit for power when he needed to, but had the speed, has the most stolen bases, the most triples in franchise history, and his defense, and his swagger, and his energy. The saying was, as Reyes goes, so goes the Mets. And that was absolutely true for a good long time. People get down on him, people say he left for the money. Now, did he leave correctly as far as taking himself out that game, that final game in 2011, which I made sure I was at? No, he didn't. And he knows he made a mistake. As he got older, he realized that was just, he was going for a batting title, and that was unacceptable. And played the whole game, but it is what it is. And then he really never had a shining career after that. He had his personal problems and issues, which he worked out, and that's none of our business at the end of the day. The Mets gave him a chance to come home. He came home. He was filling in for Wright. And for someone who had never really played third base in his life, he did okay. He was a spark plug in 2016. He was a leader for the team. He took Ahmed Rosario under his wing. At the time when it seemed like a good idea that we were bringing Cespedes back repeatedly, Jose and Wright played huge roles in that. He really was, he had settled into the veteran role, and he is, in my opinion, the best leadoff and shortstop we've ever had. And yes, he did pretty much retire in 2018. I was at those last two games, Wright's last game. And I wanted for, someone who's as emotionally invested in the Mets as I am, as much as I bitch, I am an emotional mess when it comes to saying goodbye to players who I love. And I wanted from 2011 all the way to 2018 nothing more than to see Wright and Reyes finish their careers together on the left side of the infield as Mets. And I got to see it. And I was bawling seeing those two hug one last time. They put them on the kiss cam, and it was hilarious. And then Wright walked off and had his day. Yeah. And then the very next game, Jose played one inning again, but it was so that he could just tip his cap. He knew it wasn't going to be the same fanfare, but he came out the game, and you hear... And he came out, he tipped his cap, and that was it. And I will forever remember Jose for this song, for all the energy he brought, for how he led the team, and for just being an all-around Mets great. And, best of luck to you, Jose, in your music career. And hopefully one day you'll be a first base coach for the Mets where you can help the next generation learn how to steal bases as well as you did.
Yeah. Well, so he did leave Mets fans with a tweet online. He said, "Mets fans, what can I say? We never got the ring we hoped we would get, but I can't imagine playing in front of any better fans in the whole world. Your passion and energy always lifted me higher, and for that I will always be grateful."
I love you, Jose. I really do. You and Wright being gone is the end of an era, and get that retirement package, brother.
For real.
Okay, so are we on to Mets memes?
Mets memes. All right, so the first one is, who is this guy? It looks like, who is that?
That's the crying Tiger Woods, but
It is Tiger. I was
he
like,
should be. He should be wearing a Mets hat though, because that's how the season's going for us.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think,
handed to us by Atlanta, so.
yeah, I think all the home runs Atlanta's hitting off of us. I mean, he's just the
Yeah.
Atlanta apple coming up and down. It's so sad. But this one's a little, it's a little less Mets related, but topical. It's an image of all the cardboard cut. This one's at Globe Life Field, but because not every team has done the cardboard cutouts. Breaking: Health officials report 6 cardboard cutout baseball fans test positive for coronavirus.
There was also another one that I saw where they said that the cardboard cutouts were leaving.
Yeah.
Well, if they're at City Field, they sure as shit are. That's sad.
Yeah.
I will say, I need to retract.
If I had one, I'd request to have my cardboard cutout removed.
Right? I have to retract my anger from a previous episode where I was pissed off that they were selling them. It turns out that all the proceeds, the $86 the Mets are charging, are all going to charity. So that's a good job.
Oh, that's good.
That is really good. The next one is a video meme that PCL Laxity sent. We'll tweet it. And
I know it's pretty funny. Yeah.
it is the Mets funeral. Okay, now my computer wants to freeze. There we go. So it is the Mets funeral, of course.
Yeah.
Which is, and this one, my personal favorite.
The Astros one, right?
The Astros. It says coronavirus free because we saw the signs coming. Yeah.
See what you did
Yeah,
there.
I saw this one thing. I should have mentioned it in the episode before, but it was where the Yankees and Red Sox gave like a round of applause for the Astros, and they were all banging trash cans.
Oh man, that was brilliant. And so here we have. Ashley, you want to take this one?
Well, I mean, we all know that he went missing, so now they put him on a milk carton trying to find him.
Oh God. Well, topical, that's for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, look, I know we joke around with this, but at least he was healthy and safe.
Yes,
Yeah.
at least he was okay.
Actually, what happened.
No, yeah, I'm very thankful for that, and I wish him luck. Whatever happens,
Yeah.
we'll see what his future holds.
I gotta give it to him because, I mean, like how we started this episode, 2015 Cespedes was one of the highlights.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
he's definitely a legend from 2015 Cespedes. We are glad he's safe and sound.
Yeah.
We are totally glad that a lot of the Mets are safe from Corona. We do hope and that the MLB decides to implement some sort of standards to make things a lot better for the players as well as the staff. And we do hope that going into the 2020 season, we still have a season and we still have healthy players. That's all I ask for.
Well, we're going to go to Miami this week, so let's see what happens.
All right. So this has been a call to the pen, and we are standing room only. I am Ashley.
I'm Shane.
Victor.
He's Victor. I'm Shane. That's Ashley. I'm Ashley. She's Victor. That's Shane.
We are people, and we're saying goodbye. Victor, you want to throw your papers?
I don't have any papers on it.
No.
Okay, I got you. Ready? 1, 2.
No papers. I'm officially clocked out for this season.
Hopefully MLB clocks themselves out very shortly.
Yeah.
Ooh.